They told you that you were weak because you were quiet. They told you that you were invisible because you were boring. They told you that the only way to win in this world was to be loud, flashy, entertaining, to demand attention like a fool juggling in the marketplace. And you believed them. You believed every smirk when they called you dull. You believed every rejection when they said you lacked charisma. You believed the lie that your silence was a flaw, your patience a curse, your quiet nature a prison. But here is the truth they never wanted you to hear. The boring and the quiet are not weak. They are unreadable, untouchable, and in the end, they always win. History does not remember the clowns. History remembers the ones who outlasted them. The loud burn fast like fireworks. The quiet endure like stone. The boring watch while others exhaust themselves with vanity. And when the dust settles, it is the quiet who remains standing, stronger, sharper, more dangerous than anyone ever suspected. Think of Machiavelli whispering truths about power in exile, while kings and conquerors destroyed themselves with arrogance. Think of Jung sitting in silence, excavating the unconscious while louder voices dismissed him, until the world bent under the weight of his ideas. Think of Nietzsche, isolated, sick, ignored, but leaving behind words so sharp they cut through centuries. The lie you were told was simple, that silence equals weakness and noise equals strength. The truth you will discover is darker. Noise is distraction. Silence is calculation. And boredom, that dreaded label, is the mask of those too disciplined to play the clown's game. You have been mocked, ignored, overlooked. But in that invisibility lies your greatest weapon. They cannot defend against what they cannot read. They cannot strike what they cannot see. They cannot prepare for what they underestimate. This is not motivation. This is revelation. The game has always been rigged in your favor, and in this video, you will see why the boring and quiet ones secretly dominate in a world that worships noise. Now, let us begin. You've been overlooked, ignored in conversations, dismissed in the crowd, passed over while louder men stole the spotlight. And you thought this was weakness. You thought invisibility was a curse. But listen carefully, it is not a curse. It is a weapon. The loud live under constant scrutiny. Every word, every move, every mistake is magnified. The spotlight that flatters them is also the fire that burns them. They cannot hide. They cannot breathe. They cannot move without exposing their intentions. But you live in the shadows. No one expects you to strike. No one expects you to dominate. And that is why you hold the most dangerous position of all, the unseen observer. When you are overlooked, you are free. Free to watch, free to gather information, free to study the weaknesses of every man who thinks he is stronger than you. The quiet mind sees what the noisy mouth cannot. The boring presence absorbs details the flashy one misses. This is not new wisdom. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince that the ruler must conceal his claws until the moment is right. The fox does not roar like a lion. It waits, it watches, it hides in plain sight. And when the lion grows reckless, the fox takes everything. Modern psychology calls this social invisibility. When people underestimate you, they drop their guard. They reveal their thoughts, their plans, their arrogance. They talk too much because they think you don't matter. And in that overconfidence, they hand you the blueprint of their own downfall. Think of a poker game. The loud player slams chips, brags about his hand, tries to dominate the table. But the quiet one, the one no one notices, he watches. He memorizes patterns. He collects tells. He bleeds them slowly until suddenly, when it's too late, he owns the table. You are that player. You are the one they laugh at before the game and fear after it ends. Remember this. Being overlooked is not absence of power. It is concealment of power. Your invisibility blinds them. Your silence deceives them. Your patience strangles them. Julius Caesar was underestimated when he was young, mocked as soft, dismissed as unthreatening. His rivals never noticed the steel behind his eyes until Rome was already his. Tesla, working in solitude, was ignored while Edison basked in fame. Yet Tesla's ideas lit the modern world. The overlooked win because no one prepares for their rise. What society tells you, that you must be seen, be heard, be celebrated to matter, is a lie designed to keep you performing like a fool in the marketplace of attention. What truth reveals is that the real power belongs to those who don't waste themselves chasing applause. Every time you are overlooked, you gain ground. Every time you are ignored, you sharpen. Every time you are dismissed, you grow stronger. The loud are busy proving. The quiet are busy preparing. And when preparation meets the perfect moment, the overlooked strike, and no one sees it coming. So let them mock, let them laugh, let them talk over you, because in their noise, they reveal everything, and in your silence, you lose nothing. The boring and the quiet win not by being noticed, but by being forgotten until it's already too late. This is your first law of power. To be overlooked is to be armed. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is pressure. Silence is power. When you speak less, the world grows uneasy. People rush to fill the void with nervous chatter. They confess more than they planned. They expose weaknesses they meant to hide. They reveal themselves because your silence forced them into discomfort. You think speaking proves strength? No. Speaking proves need. Need to be heard. Need to be validated. Need to be accepted. The one who cannot endure silence is already enslaved by it. But the one who masters silence controls the entire room. In negotiation, silence is a blade. State your position, then wait. Do not explain. Do not soften. Do not rescue them from their discomfort. Watch how they squirm. They will reveal their desperation before you reveal yours. In conflict, silence is intimidation. The one who argues loudest has already lost composure. The quiet one, sitting still, unreadable, he is the threat. He is the one you cannot predict. Even in relationships, silence bends control. When you stop answering every question, when you resist the compulsion to explain yourself, you create mystery. And mystery is magnetic. People chase what they cannot understand. Carl Jung warned that what we repress, what we bury in silence, does not vanish. It grows in the shadows, shaping our identity. Most men fear their own silence because they fear what will surface if they stop talking. But you, when you embrace silence, you master both yourself and others. Nietzsche despised idle chatter. He called it the noise of the herd. He saw in silence the mark of a thinker, one who speaks only when words carry weight. Loud men are predictable. Quiet men are dangerous. Think of a courtroom. The witness who rambles is torn apart. The one who answers in short, sharp fragments terrifies the prosecutor. Why? Because control lies not in noise, but in restraint. Think of warfare. The general who shouts orders across the battlefield exposes his plan. The general who waits in silence, concealing, holding, letting the enemy panic in uncertainty. That is the one who crushes without mercy. You must understand this. Silence destabilizes others because it forces them to face themselves. And most men cannot face themselves. They would rather drown in distraction than endure the echo of their own thoughts. You, however, are different. You can endure the silence. You can weaponize it. You can stand in a room and say nothing. And in that nothing, dominate everything. So, stop apologizing for being quiet. Stop filling the air with pointless words. Stop chasing the approval of those who fear silence. Every word you don't say makes you stronger. Every pause you hold makes them weaker. Every silence you create becomes your arena of control. This is the dark psychology of silence. It is not the absence of speech. It is the presence of power. And once you master it, no one will ever read you, no one will ever control you, and no one will ever forget the fear you leave in the spaces between your words. You were told boredom is death, that if your life isn't exciting, flashy, dramatic, then it must be worthless. That without constant stimulation, you are failing. That is a lie, and it has ruined more lives than you can imagine. The truth, boredom is not weakness. Boredom is endurance. Boredom is the discipline that outlasts chaos. The world worships noise, parties, drama, constant highs. But what happens to those who burn their energy? Chasing stimulation, they collapse. They exhaust themselves. They live fast, die young, and leave nothing behind but dust. Meanwhile, the boring and quiet ones, the ones mocked for their routines, their stillness, their lack of fun, they are the ones who endure. They rise slowly, quietly, without spectacle. And by the time the flamboyant burn out, the boring are the only ones left standing. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily meditations. The same practice, repeated endlessly, without glory. It was boring. Yet those words carved from discipline have outlived every decadent feast and every Roman spectacle. What was boring in the moment became immortal in the long run. Military strategy reveals the same law. Armies that waste strength in reckless charges collapse. Armies that march slowly, conserve energy, endure hardship. Those are the ones that win the war. Victory belongs not to the dramatic gesture, but to the dull repetition of discipline. Modern psychology calls this the advantage of delayed gratification. The flashy seek immediate reward. The boring wait. They save, they build, they invest, they outlast. And in the end, patience always beats impulse. Think of business. The founders who built empires were not the loudest in the room. They were the ones who spent years, decades, quietly refining, repeating, resisting distraction. Their competitors laughed at their boring obsession until they owned entire industries. Look at Warren Buffett. His life is simple, repetitive, even dull. No chaos, no drama. But that boring lifestyle is why he survived market crashes that destroyed flashier men. Boredom was not his weakness. It was his shield. And you, the one who thought your life was too plain, too quiet, too uneventful, you are holding the exact advantage they will never have. They waste their strength chasing highs. You build strength by enduring lows. They burn out in spectacle. You outlast in silence. They shine brightly for a moment. You endure like stone. This is the inversion you must see. What the world calls boring is often the very trait that guarantees survival, longevity, and eventual dominance. So, do not envy the loud. Do not envy the reckless. Do not envy the dramatic. Their rise is a performance, but their fall is guaranteed. Instead, take pride in your patience. Take pride in your routine. Take pride in your ability to resist chaos. Because in a world addicted to distraction, the one who can stay boring becomes unstoppable. This is your hidden advantage. This is your shield. This is your crown. The boring do not fade. The boring inherit everything. There is a certain kind of power more lethal than wealth, more effective than charm, more enduring than brute strength. It is the power of being underestimated. When they dismiss you, they relax. When they laugh at you, they reveal themselves. When they call you boring, quiet, invisible, they stop guarding against you. And that is when you strike. History is littered with the corpses of men who mocked the wrong nobody. Julius Caesar learned early to cloak his ambition in humility. He let Rome see him as weak, unthreatening, a man with no hunger for power. By the time they realized the truth, it was too late. He was already in control. This is the paradox. The more they underestimate you, the sharper your blade becomes. Because invisibility gives you access. Access to their secrets. Access to their blind spots. Access to the very levers of power they would never show an equal. Think of the quiet worker in the office, the one ignored in meetings, the one mocked for lacking charisma. While the flashy perform for applause, he listens, he studies, he refines, and then, without warning, he surpasses them. He takes the promotion, the recognition, the authority. Why? Because the arrogant never saw him coming. Machiavelli himself wrote that a wise ruler must appear weak when strong and harmless when dangerous. The appearance of harmlessness disarms enemies. It lulls them into complacency. They reveal vulnerabilities because they believe you lack the will to use them. And when the moment arrives, you act, and they crumble. Modern psychology confirms it. People build defenses against those they fear, but they drop defenses against those they consider irrelevant. By being underestimated, you bypass the walls that stop louder, flashier competitors. You walk past barriers others crash against. Do you understand the implication? Every time someone dismisses you, they hand you an advantage. Every insult becomes armor. Every doubt becomes leverage. Every time they say you are nothing, they make themselves blind to your rise. And when the day of revelation comes, when the quiet one they mocked steps forward, unshaken, undeniable, the shock is greater, the defeat more humiliating, the dominance absolute. This is not motivation. This is manipulation. You do not need to convince them of your worth. You need only let them believe you have none, until you reveal it at the precise moment when it matters most. The world is obsessed with appearing powerful. That obsession destroys them. You will be obsessed with being overlooked. That obsession will crown you. So let them underestimate you. Encourage it, feed it, smile when they call you boring, nod when they say you lack presence. Agree when they assume you will never rise, because every dismissal sharpens the knife you will one day use. And when you finally reveal yourself, when the underestimated becomes undeniable, the world will not understand how it happened, but you will, because you knew all along, being underestimated was never your weakness. It was your greatest weapon. Power does not belong to the strongest. It does not belong to the loudest. It belongs to the one who can wait the longest. This is the law of hidden patience, and it belongs to you. The boring and the quiet are mocked for their stillness, their slow rise, their lack of urgency. But what the world calls slowness is in fact endurance. While others chase quick rewards, you prepare for inevitable victories. Psychology calls it delayed gratification, the ability to resist short-term pleasure for long-term gain. Every study proves it. Those who can wait, who can delay, who can endure, they win more, achieve more, dominate more. The flashy demand everything now. The patient claim everything later. Carl Jung spoke of individuation, the slow process of becoming whole. He knew the psyche could not be rushed. Growth happens in silence, beneath the surface, invisible to those addicted to applause. The quiet ones, the boring ones, grow inwardly while others waste themselves outwardly. Look at the stock market, the impatient gamble, chasing spikes, losing everything. The patient investor waits. He endures crashes, storms, panic. And when the cycle ends, he is richer than all of them. Look at war. Impulsive generals charge recklessly and lose. Patient generals hold, endure, wait for the perfect moment, and then strike with devastating force. The truth is simple. Patience transforms time into a weapon. Every second you endure, every delay you withstand, every gratification you refuse, all of it sharpens your edge. While others waste their strength on shallow victories, you quietly store yours for the decisive battle. And here's the paradox. The boring life is patient by design. You are not consumed by constant drama. You are not enslaved by reckless impulse. You can wait, you can endure, you can grow silently until the moment no one can ignore you. This patience is not passive. It is strategic inevitability. It is the slow tightening of a noose. It is the quiet buildup of pressure until the world cannot resist you any longer. Think of a mountain. It does not rise in a day. It rises over centuries, silent, immovable, inevitable. That is what your patience makes you, a force of inevitability. So let the others rush. Let them chase their shallow highs, their instant approval, their fleeting victories. They are fireworks. You are stone. They are temporary. You are inevitable. The law of hidden patience is this. What takes longer lasts longer. What is built slowly cannot be destroyed quickly. What is endured in silence becomes unstoppable in time. You are not late. You are not weak. You are not behind. You are waiting. You are preparing. You are becoming. And when the world finally realizes what you have built, it will be too late for them to stop you. Because the quiet and the boring do not just win, they win because they waited. You began this journey believing you were invisible. You believed being boring made you weak. You believed being quiet made you irrelevant. But now you see it. The very traits they mocked are the laws of power itself. You were overlooked, and that freed you from scrutiny. You could watch while others exposed themselves. You were silent, and that silence destabilized every room you entered. You were boring, and that boredom became endurance, outlasting every spectacle. You were underestimated, and that underestimation became your weapon. You were patient, and that patience turned time itself into your ally. Do you see the transformation? You are not the ghost they believed you were. You are the master they never saw coming. The noisy ones burn bright and vanish. You endure in silence. The flamboyant fight for attention. You fight for inevitability. The arrogant reveal their plans. You reveal nothing until it is too late. This is the identity shift. You are not boring. You are unreadable. You are not quiet. You are untouchable. You are not invisible. You are inevitable. Think of every empire in history. It was not the loud festivals, the entertainers, or the clowns who defined destiny. It was the patient architects, the quiet strategists, the overlooked builders who shaped the ages. It was Caesar, waiting in the shadows. It was Machiavelli, whispering truth behind closed doors. It was Nietzsche, writing in solitude while the herd laughed. And now, it is you. You are not here to compete for their attention. You are here to outlast them, to outmaneuver them, to rise when they have destroyed themselves with noise and chaos. This is your rebirth. The weak identity dies here. The one who apologized for being quiet is gone. The one who felt ashamed of being boring is buried. In their place stands a rare mind, unreadable, feared, and destined to win. You are no longer a ghost, you are the master. Enough. No more apologies. No more shame for being quiet. No more self-doubt for being boring. From this moment forward, you claim these traits as your law. Silence is your weapon, patience is your shield, invisibility is your crown. You are not part of the herd, you are part of the hidden order, the rare ones who always win in the end. This channel is not entertainment, it is initiation. Each video is not a distraction, it is training. If you are still here, it means you are one of us, the overlooked, the underestimated, the unreadable. So, take the final step, join this order, subscribe, not as a follower, but as a member of the brotherhood of the quiet and the boring, the ones destined to dominate when all others fall. This is your command. Stand still, stay quiet, wait, and when the moment comes, strike, because the boring and the quiet do not fade. They do not lose, they do not beg, they win, always, in the end.